In this warm-up, I asked students to write the recursive formula for this t-table, and not all students wrote the recursive formula, but I go ahead and have them share out so that we can compare the different formulas and talk about recursive versus explicit in this lesson. And so recursive, one student did share that the recursive formula, the nth term or any term in the sequence, could be found by taking the previous term, which we notate by a subscript n minus 1, and then adding 3 each time, because you can see that it has a common difference of 3 in the output values that it's adding each time. And also we talk about that the second part of the recursive formula is that the student needs to state the first term in the sequence, which is 1. And then I have a student also come up and share about the explicit formula, and that they could tell that it was y equals 3 was the slope in front of x, and they had to figure out, well, if I had 3 times 0, which was the first x value, how do I get to 1? Well, I would just add 1. So if we tried that formula for all of them, y equals 3x plus 1, if I substituted 1 in for x, 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 would be 4, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 would be 7, and that would work. One student just used a numeric pattern, and so I had them share that to show that they were on the right track. They just never got to a formula. So they had 0, 1, 2, and the pattern of x's out here, so we represented that with the variable x. And they had it multiplying by the number 2 each time, so I talked about, well, that is just means that that's a constant, so that's 2x. And then you had, then they had the value of add 1 to get to the value, add 2 to get to the output value, and add 3, and so forth. And so we looked at that and said, okay, if you had 2 times 0 was 2x, and you're adding 1 to x each time, you're just having x plus 1, so this represents x plus 1. If we simplify that, that's going to be 2x plus x plus 1, which actually, if they would have kept going and thought about it that way, they would have ended up with 3x plus 1, or y equals 3x plus 1 for the formula.